You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
And we're back. I'm Mark. He's Rhino. He's Tony. And that's Dr. Pringles. We got some matches. Rhino, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen when this Argenport mid-range and Fire Justice Shadow Armory decks go at it?
Pain, in one word. No, and a whole lot of fun if you're into that sort of thing. So, Tony G rocking Argenport mid-range, going up against his former lover, not Dr. Pringles, but Armory, a deck that he's enjoyed in the past. I don't know about his actual personal relationships other than with decks themselves.
Oh,
but
is it like a Romeo Juliet type of situation?
Yeah, this is a matchup that I think has to favor Armory, even though Tony G just did very well against Removal Pile in the past round, and Argenport's gotten a little bit better against these decks as they've upped their threat count. A deck with 4 Auric Runehammers against a deck with a bunch of units that die to it and no actual reach to deal with the hammers can really play out well for Armory. It's not guaranteed to play out that way. Tony G has a couple finest hours and some sabotages to try and help with that, and Varus favors to plink them off if they haven't been buffed yet, and 2 Runehammers of his own. So there's some useful cards there, but overall, the Armory deck I think is favored in this matchup.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
But the beauty of Argenport is it's never, even when it's an underdog, it's never that big of one, right? Yeah. Sabotage plus a bunch of strong units can just get there in terms of being consistent and redundant.
Yeah, I still think I like Dr. Pringles, but I could be wrong.
I love Dr. Pringles. Big fan of his work.
It is pretty tasty. It is pretty tasty. Players underway. Actually, wait, is it Dr. Pepper or Pringles that's tasty?
All right, Quarry out from Pringles, needs to find a justice source, has to toss away a hammer. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, Tony G, not having any of these influence issues, thanks to that seat off the top, is able to go ahead and play out the Crown Watch Paladin. Dr. Pringles playing some power and just passing the turn.
And this is exactly what we talked about before this match started.
Yeah.
Argenport is consistent, persistent, and redundant, and that's what we see here. It just gets to execute its game plan reliably every game, and we see Dr. Pringles on the other end stumbling on influence. Now he's got to cobble together that while also finding the right answers to all this pressure that Tony G is going to be applying. And that's already 2 Runehammers down from Pringles, which, as I talked about, was probably the best card in this matchup.
Yeah, let's see. Dr. Pringles, still not finding a justice source, is able to find a torch, which will get rid of this Rip Knife Assassin if they want to. However, hopefully Dr. Pringles just passes and lets this Unseen Commando get played.
The thing is, this Rip Knife Assassin might be more threatening than the Commando because it's presenting a clock of double Warcry every turn. While the Commando does pressure a little bit harder on your life total, this one pressures even harder and dodges Torch. So this is the worst of all worlds for Pringles. Now you still end up torching the Rip Knife Assassin. Oh, you don't even do that. Wow. Okay. Oh, they're holding it for a Justice Source plus wanted poster.
I don't know if you have that luxury.
I think you did for a turn, and you might not anymore. Okay, now with a second torch, you're firing one off. But yeah, I think because you're so far behind, you actually do want to take that risk of trying to get this wanted poster triggered because you have nothing else to trigger it in hand. And
this is actually kind of interesting, right? Because Dr. Pringles has that zero-costed torch, there's going to be a pause at every step of the way. So I was almost wondering if you fire off the zero-costed torch versus the one.
No, because you still just want the cheapest one available. Sure, Tony G has information that you have the zero-cost torch. Okay, like that's not going to change how much he plays here, I would say. And now, what if you wanted poster, fire off the torch, and you find another one-cost spell to shoot off or something like that here that you would have wanted to play. So I think it's fine. But all right, Pringles has found the justice sources, but he's dead. So
yeah, just picks it up. Yeah, you know
that Aegis means something.
Tony taking it down.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Pringles, a little unfortunate with the influence there, but that's why we play another potentially 4 games, right?
Yeah, and again, that's part of that is bad luck. Part of it
Mhm.
is one deck is a 2-faction deck, the
Yep.
other is a 3-faction deck, and you accept that risk when you play it. That some number of games can simply go that way, where you can't cast all the cards you want to when you want to.
Did you know that Bartholow's roses do have thorns?
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy the little bits of flavor text that are added to these cards, like for the loading screen cards. Nice little bit. I know that Reddit has been yelling about flavor text on cards the past couple days, but this is an aside to that,
Yeah. I'm getting word from Tony that as much as he'd like to mulligan this hand, this is the hand he mulled into. Just so we know. So it is a 3-power hand, though. It's just going to be slow to deploy. Doesn't have an early threat, which I think is the big problem here. And this is the kind of hand that can really get wrecked by what Pringles has on the other side, like that Auric Runehammer, right? Where your threats are coming out slowly. But Pringles shipped that off because it was really light on power. Mm-hmm. It was only a 2-power hand.
Yeah, now Pringles is looking pretty well set up with the current hand. Not going to have those influence issues that they had last game. Tony, on the other hand, it's not ideal, but I don't think they're in the worst spot. Being on the draw, having a scout, more than likely going to be able to hit a power. Do you keep this Crown Watch Paladin on top? Yeah, I guess you do.
I don't think I would there.
I wouldn't have either. Yeah.
My power's depleted. What's your game plan to deploy all of this now? You're going to Seed of Vengeance this turn. The next turn, you're going to Paladin and hope to draw power because you can't play out Vara's favor. I don't know. It's nice that you're guaranteeing yourself a play on turn 3, but you could already do that. I guess you couldn't do that with Vara's favor anyways because of the depleted power the next turn.
Well, Dr. Pringle's finding the second Sword of Ikaria here.
Mm-hmm.
Tony's not going to be able to play most of their threats. Granted, this Crown Watch Paladin does do a great job of getting a bigger behind on the turns that Dr. Pringle would be able to attack with a weapon. So that should stick
Crown Watch
around.
Traitor. Yeah.
What did I say? Did I say Crown Watch Paladin?
Yeah, I can't get them mixed up here, but Pringles will opt to play down the 4-cost Throne Warden that they found off of Quarry, priming their Sword of Ikaria or Auric Runehammer to just do massive amounts of damage here. And Tony G can just Vara's favor and play that 2-drop out.
Ooh. How do you feel about Vara's favoring face there versus popping the Aegis?
I don't think they're concerned about popping the Aegis because they have an Auric Runehammer that already lines up well against the Throne Warden. So they don't really value popping the Aegis on that as much. So might as well just go face, take out 1 armor. Who knows? That could end up mattering more than simply popping the Aegis. Pringles finds an undepleted power. So now can poster plus Sword of Ikaria here. Or it could go Auric Runehammer if they really want to preserve their armor total. Oh, and one poster doesn't work on a unit with Aegis.
Because the Aegis.
So never mind. But still going with Sword of Ikaria just to get the war cries anyways.
Yeah, there's the Crown Watch Trader, Argenport Banner. That's going to allow Tabarod to be played next turn. And again, this Crown Watch Trader does not care about that Sword of Ikaria. Also blanks the Sword of Ikaria thanks to the Sword of... And actually, there's that 1 point of armor really mattering here.
But they're going to care about this Slay, as Dr. Pringles has a straightforward turn. They're actually going to use Wanted Poster this time around. As Trader is not Paladin, does not have an Aegis. And there we see it. But that's a valuable Slay out of hand from Pringles. The problem is it comes with a draw 2 attached. And that just means, another Slay gets retrieved. And the war cries keep adding up from the Sword of Ikaria.
Yeah, so if you're Tony, are you pressed to play the Tabarod?
Yeah,
looks like you are.
Make them have it. At this point, I don't think there's any better play for you.
Guess what, Rhino? They do have it.
Oh, yeah. They always have it. Pringles draw is going quite a bit better this game compared to last, and this is what this deck is capable of in this matchup when the draw goes the way you want it to, right? Just Tony G has to play 1 threat a turn. Those threats aren't pressuring the weapons from Pringles. They just have free reign to just keep pounding with them, and that's what we're seeing here. All right, have to play out the Bloodletter on this Valkyrie Enforcer so that it's out of range of the Sword of Ikaria.
Yeah, this is absolutely brutal. Crown Watch Paladin was left on the top for Tony. The 6/6 will be able to answer the Sword of Akari, as you mentioned. The Rune Hammer will be able to answer the Throne Warden. Do you block the 4/3 Recano Artisan just to get a 2-for-1? Or I guess no, it's a 2-for-2 at that point.
Yeah, if you don't block, you go to 1 and then Torch kills you. So I think you got to stay out of range and eat up the 2-for-2. That happens here. And now Pringles could deploy another weapon preemptively here, and I think I like doing that with the Harsh Rule in hand. And yeah, that's what we see. Sword of Ikaria is the play here, but Tony G has that Aegis unit, doesn't get cleaned up by Harsh Rule.
Yeah, Harsh Rule now becoming a little bit of a liability.
It's not a liability. It's still a nice card to have, but
I guess Tony G is still left with a 4/1 weapon.
Ooh. Gets rid of the Slay. Not interested in the Slay. Instead wants another 4/3 Artisan just to get a unit to eat this hammer. Sure.
Well, and then puts Tony into torch range.
Puts him into torch range or puts him into Auric Runehammer range.
Yes.
And you can, if you wanted to, you could play Artisan plus Hammer here, which is maybe what Pringles is thinking about. Because again, you get to play Harsh Rule on the same turn as your Hammer, but you're losing out on that valuable invulnerability. And yeah, they pass up on that, let Tony G hit them, do the damage themselves, and Runehammer will finish off this game 2 and tie up the match.
Oof. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now we're going to be moving into our sideboarded games with a 1-1 record for both players. What are we seeing? What are we out of the boards? Anything stand out from either one of the decks right off the bat?
Tony G's just gonna try and up his threat quality and his disruption, right? So sabotages and probably protects are coming in. Protect doesn't help against weapons, but can help against Harsh Rule and Slay, which is the big thing there. So some number of those are coming in. Not exactly sure what you're cutting. Maybe something like the Bloodletters. They can help your units get slightly bigger and out of weapon range. So that's nice, but I think you'd prefer to just have the quantity of units over necessarily trying to pair a weapon on top of them.
Yeah, it looks like the 4th Sabotage will be coming in for Tony G. The 2 Protects will be coming in. Looks like Vanquish.
Okay, all the Bloodletters do stay in, right? He gave us his plan. Gotcha.
Yeah, so it looked like two Vanquishes come in, Interrogators.
Does that mean all the Slay go out? Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Because all of the targets for Slay are also Vanquish targets, presumably. Post-board for Pringles.
Inquisitor Blades are also getting removed, yeah.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense. Just go with the cheaper weapon that actually takes them out of relic weapon range, which is Bloodletter. On the other side, Pringles could add some units to the mix, especially if they anticipate Tony G cutting down on removal. Maiden and Mako could be useful, but that might also dilute your main game plan too much. But if Tony G's cutting down on removal, maybe swapping Mokto for Throne Warden makes a lot of sense, right? It dodges Runehammer, it flies, so it can actually deal with the flyers that Tony G's presenting, but you lose out on that valuable armor gain, so it's not a simple swap.
So it looks like our players are actually underway here. All
right, we'll see what's going on. I am in match. We are letting them know they can go ahead.
Yep. All right.
And Pringles is going to mull away that 1 power hand.
And Tony left with a hand that actually, I guess, oh, wow. It's going to be turn 2 Crown Watch Paladin into a turn 3 Bloodletter?
I don't see a Bloodletter, but
it's on top.
Scouted one on top. Yeah, there it is. So they're just hoping that, that'll help it dodge a Sword of Ikaria. And yeah, we see the Mokto from Pringles, so those did come in. And yeah, this is a pretty good start for Tony G. That's going to be obnoxious for Pringles to deal with.
Yeah, Vanquish off the top as well, potentially, or able to answer any potential roadblocks that get in the way.
Yeah.
Recano Outlaw is coming down, or do you think we're going to see this quarry being fired off for Dr. Pringles?
I think Pringles is going to quarry and dig for a rune hammer as soon as possible. Like
Yeah,
that's
that
your
makes
clean
perfect
answer
sense.
to Paladin, and you just need to deal with this threat.
Oh, okay. There we go. So there's a Throne Warden off the top for Dr. Pringles as well, which is reduced cost. So the Dr. Pringles will be able to play him next turn, and at least that gives a pretty decent blocker. However, 6/4 Crown Watch Trader drawn for Tony and immediately played.
Yeah, and Tony will have Barra's favor to pair with Vanquish or just use Rune Hammer on the Throne Warden. So this Throne Warden, normally a stalwart defender, will get cut down pretty quick. Tony G's hand just lining up exactly with the curve you want and the threat you want in this matchup.
Okay. Yeah, very interesting. Also, Tony sending a quick note, actually brought 3 Vanquishes in.
Sure. Anticipating that Mokto.
Yeah, I guess based off of what how the matchup went yesterday. Very interesting. Very heads up.
Pringles is basically dead here. Like, you cast Harsh Rule and you die. You cast Mokto and you die. Yeah. Okay. I'm not finding the combination of plays here that keeps them alive.
All right.
Am I missing something here? Let's see. You play Mokto, you block Paladin, you die. You play Harsh Rule, you die. Yeah. This death is here, and this is what we mentioned before. This Crown Watch Paladin angle now that Argenport has, they've kind of almost become the de facto aggro deck of the format. Aggro's gotten a little bit bigger, a little bit beefier, a little less rush down, more resilience. And that's really helping its matchup against these armory removal pile style decks. That little 2/1 Aegis that can have cascading effects throughout the matchup.
Yeah, impressive showing for Tony G there. Taking down, now leading 2-1. And I have to imagine they're going to have a decently quick turnaround, unless Dr. Pringle saw something out of that would inform their sideboarding decisions. But that game was so fast. I don't think.
Yeah, and they saw zero different cards from Tony, right? They didn't see any new cards. They simply saw cards that were in Tony's main deck. So they still may tweak some things, but there's not a whole lot you can do to make your deck better against Crown Watch Paladin into Bloodletter on the play.
Yeah. And now looking at Tony's current opener, doesn't have that line available to them unless they draw some more power, but I can't imagine they're going to be keeping this one. Dr. Pringles, I'm sure, will have their hand up in a second. Tony G missing shadow influence here. Not looking strong.
That is not a great hand to mulligan into. Not only is it missing shadow sources, it doesn't have a 2-drop or a 3-drop to be found. So this Finest Hour is super awkward with expensive units. And Pringles, double Artisan Opener means the quality of your draws going forward is going to be super amazing. Yeah. And it's just a question of, do they want to open on a crest here, or do they want to open on Seat plus Seek? They decide to crest early.
Yeah, I don't know what Tony's draws would have to be in order to.
Well, he drew the wrong 2-drop to start.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's going to get better from there. But there's the correct one.
Well, and I guess able to leave a Finest Hour now, so a little lining, right?
Yeah, the problem is Dr. Pringles has one of his best answers to Crown Watch Paladin in Artisan in play, and as you said, Finest Hour at least keeps it alive for a turn, but that's still got to be discouraging knowing that he's going to be staring down 2 Rakano Artisans.
Yeah.
And all right, Dr. Pringles is scouting. Not sure what they were looking at there. I didn't catch it on the hand cam.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did not either. But we do see the Rakano Artisan coming down,
and they kept it on top.
Yes.
Ooh, Finest Hour plus Vanquish is available here for Tony G. Not very appetizing though. Yep, in comes the Paladin. Warcry not very valuable here, as there's no guarantee the thing you hit even you can cast, although your best hits are your 3 health flyers. So Tony G hoping to get lucky and hit one of those, or somehow draw a mythical power that provides you 2 shadow influence at once.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
Yeah.
You didn't get that in your streamer pack?
I somehow missed out on those. Maybe in the next update. There's a Bloodletter. That'd be amazing if you could cast it.
Yeah. A little unfortunate. Tony just having to sit back because now not only short on influence, but also short on power. Dr. Pringle's probably going to run away with this game.
Pringles is priming up the patented unbuffed turn 6 dice show with no lead up to it. Like kind of anemic draws from both players, but Pringles has been super functional in that these two Rakano artisans are eventually going to transform Pringles draw into something very special. Debating on whether or not he wants to torch the commando now, but with the wanted poster in hand, looks like he'll just wait and deploy that here.
Yeah, because now you can torch wanted poster and Sword of Ikaria on this turn, or you just play the Daisho. Yeah,
Daisho and save poster for another target later on seems to be the plan, and just start pressuring with Daisho. But another Paladin's the draw here, which is kind of immune to the poster torch plan, at least that it negates it pretty heavily. So Tony G kind of drawing the correct nuisance, and means poster's just gonna pop an Aegis, and Pringle's trying to go the distance with this dice show for now. With a harsh roll to back it up, pretty likely to work out.
Yeah, now Tony is finding some shadow influence. I think it's just gonna be a little too late. Rip Knife Assassin does theoretically block the Starsealed Daisho, but not in the best way that you'd like.
Daisho is a 2-turn clock, so Pringles could opt to harsh rule here and dare Tony G to have one more threat the next turn. Or you finally concede that the Daisho's done enough. You trade it in and get down Mokto here.
I don't know. I think I like just playing Mokto. It's a little slower, but I don't know, because like Tony's been like so hard up for power the entire time. Maybe it is.
Yeah,
maybe
and
it
it's
is
not like
reasonable.
You've played a vanquished target yet this game or things like that, right? Like how do you know if Mokto's going to end it either? You haven't drawn a power yet to get a Karia down. It is. Harsh Roll is a valuable card. Using it just on a 2/2 is a little weird. It's like, do you value this dice show more or this Harsh Roll more? And it looks like he values the Harsh Roll more.
Yeah. That very interesting. Tony having some insight into figuring out what was going on. Tony was actually hoping that there was going to be some sort of move. Well, sometimes you just Destiny Mokto off the top.
There's no escape there. There's no escape.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Is Dr. Pring is Ikaria like a creature type zombie now too, or unit type zombie as well?
Zombies aren't in this game yet.
Yeah,
there are zero zombies in the game.
There's like multiple Ikarias. Is there a cloning program? I'm just trying to figure out.
There's Simulacra.
How this is. Oh, I like that. I can get behind that. There we go. Tony G going ahead and playing out the Argoon Hammer, taking care of that Rakano Artisan. That's not 3 Rakano Artisans that have been played. Any weapon that Dr. Pringles is drawing is just going to be absolutely massive.
And mass enough to be lethal here, as Tony G is at 11 total health, and 7 plus 5 will get the job done. And that'll even up the match.
Yeah, it's 2-2. Going to our game 5 here. Very interesting. Much closer than I thought they would end up being.
Yeah, both players kind of dropping a game due to power issues. Tony G did an admirable job of trying to keep up that game, finding those super pesky Crown Watch Paladins, but Pringles just those early artisans added up to be too much in the mid game with those draws.
Yeah, so I'm sure players going back just one more time, looking over their sideboards to see if there's anything they can be using. Again, it seems like the sideboard plans that they've worked out are kind of there. There is that interesting play between like Dr. Pringles bringing in more units versus Tony G doing some stuff, and Tony G having the read in terms of like the vanquishes to bring in a few more of those thanks to the Mokto. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. But Ryan, did you do anything fun for that St. Patty's Day yesterday?
I streamed a bunch last night.
Oh, nice. It's a good day to do that on.
Yeah, it was a fun night. And then I went out for a little bit. It was 90s night at a local place, and I dressed up as a Green Power Ranger because, of course, I did.
Not the White Ranger. You were like
It's
pre White
St.
Ranger, Tommy.
Patty's. What?
Oh my God! Yeah.
You remember how we started this conversation?
No.
And then you
Clearly,
forgot about
I
it?
do not. Yeah, I do not. Hey, look, the players are in game. Isn't that awesome? We should look at that now.
Wow. Yeah. Shiny. Amazing. I am now distracted by this fact.
Yeah. Like Tony.
Right, so Tony has a slow start, but a consistent one. He'll be able to cast his cards.
Yes, has all the influence that they'll end up needing. Also has 3 power to be able to play, thanks to that Vara's favor on turn 2. Looking over Dr. Pringles, Dr. Pringles does have 1 Justice influence and missing another. I don't know how I feel about Dr. Pringles' hand right now. Do you keep this or do you throw that out?
I like it because you've got both a scout to try and hit that 4th power, and if you can just curve sort of Ikaria into Auric Runehammer, that's such a strong like 3-4 start.
Yeah,
and you have the Rise to back it up. Yeah, your spot removal's kind of bad, but I think it'd be like this is better than your average mulligan, and that's all I really need to see to keep a hand.
Okay, that's fair. Oh, and there is the Justice Sigil from the Seek Power. That's where Connor Artisan is shown off the top, thanks to that scout put on the bottom, though. Dr. Pringles doesn't think that they're going to need it.
Pringles is just looking for Justice sources. They want to cast this Auric Runehammer on turn 4, or when they want to cast it effectively. Sword of Ikaria will be the turn 3 play here, taking out that Rip Knife Assassin before it gets a Warcry off, and shutting off this Argenport banner from the top of Tony G's deck.
Which actually very, very important here. The banner is still going to be played because that would have been a depleted source no matter what. Next turn, though, Tony is going to be able to play a unit and hold up Finest Hour.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, so that banner prevented Tony G from getting a unit down under this Runehammer, but Tony G can play a Crown Watch Trader, which lines up well against it anyways. But we'll see if he opts to do that or get one of these 3 drops down with Finest Hour held up, as you mentioned.
I think Crown Watch Trader is definitely the play, especially since most of Dr. Pringle's weapons, unless it's a top-decked Runehammer, not going to be able to kill it.
Yeah, so now Pringles has a little bit of awkward tension here between the Throne Warden and the Harsh Rule. You know, if you play the Throne Warden, you hopefully are compelling your opponent to put more on the board so your Harsh Rule gets better to justify playing an extra unit into it. You could also just rise for a hammer here.
Oh, I think that's actually completely fair as well, because that also is going to encourage Tony G to play out a few more units.
Yeah, Dr. Pringles taking a line not often seen on ladder and rising for a card that's not Ikaria. Controversial, I know, but I think it is the right play here.
I would definitely agree. Tony G going to be able to attack in here thanks to that Vara's favor. Get in 5 points of damage, put Dr. Pringles down to 19 life, and plays out the Crown Watch Paladin, so that way you don't have to worry about the Harsh Roll, even if it does happen.
Really pretty sequencing there, too, right? We saw Tony G, Vara's favor, play the 2-drop, swing before playing the power from it to hide information about this Finest Hour.
Yeah, and then, which is absolutely excellent. However, that's a 6/6 Mocto that's being drawn on the Dr. Pringle's side, which does do a good job of blanking that Crown Watch Trader. So Tony G actually might have to throw some more units to get that Unseen Commando just so Crown Watch Trader can go ahead and start attacking into the Mocto. But Mocto's revenge never ends, so it doesn't really matter if that eats the Harsh Roll.
Well, this is also a spot where, because Tony G hid that information about Finest Hour, this decision could be a bit more difficult for Pringles, right? Where if they knew about the Finest, they might not have played Auric Runehammer here.
That's fair.
Now Crown Watch Trader absorbs the blow, survives the hit, and Bloodletter to put on this Crown Watch Paladin if you so desire. And Tony G does.
Tony G does, in fact, desire the Bloodletter on the Crown Watch.
So Hammer lines up against this Paladin. You could do that. You're going to take another hit from Trader, though. Harsh Rule only kills the Trader and not the Paladin, which also doesn't seem good. Or you play out the Mocto.
I think you have to Runehammer, right? Runehammer, get rid of the Crown Watch Paladin. Hopefully they play another unit out, and if not, then you still get to play Mocto. Yeah, you go down to what, 7? So it's not the worse?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Throne Warden's. I think I'm fine with
Alright.
that too.
Yeah, Throne Warden can kind of match up with this Paladin, but now Tony G's going to play out Unseen Commando here to push it through, I would guess. And
Okay.
this is a rough spot for Pringles. This board is spiraling out of control quickly.
So do you chump here and then send a very clear signal that you're harsh ruling next turn?
Ooh. Yeah, that looks to be the play. Chump 6 damage. Harsh rule, and then Tavra's going to bring it on home, I've got to say. Like, this is not a good spot for Pringles. Tony G has to feel great. This is where Argenport looks insane, right? Where it draws exactly 5 power, no more, no less, and just presents crazy hard to deal with things every turn. And this Crown Watch Paladin Bloodletter combo has just been so great for it.
Yeah, Tony G not going to play the Unseen Commando. Really no reason to. That extra point of damage more than likely won't end up mattering, and is just able to play out the not buffed up Tavron.
Pringle's not dead yet. Can play out 2 units here, but it's even though you're alive in life total, you're just so far behind here. Tavrod's going to get to sharpen up some horns here, get a chump block, I guess, so that you can eat the 5/4, and he's guaranteed to draw an Auric Interrogator off this Tavrod swing as we see the crest come down.
And it's already been buffed up, so it already is a 5/4 Auric Interrogator, and now it's going to be a 10/4, so it's going to be drawing some cards as soon as it's actually played. Or excuse me, 11/5.
Yeah, because of the extra war cry.
Yes. Oh wow, that's disgusting. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So the Commando comes down pre-swing so that the Paladin trades with Mokto instead of getting eaten by it. And Pringles scoops it up, and Tony G takes this match. And so what we talked about, Armory has the tools generally to keep up with Argenport and get ahead. And we saw that happen in a couple matches. But Argenport, with that Crown Watch Paladin tech now, can really do some work against these removal pile or Armory style decks.
Yeah. No, it's definitely thought Dr. Pringles had the edge, but like you said, that consistency is key from the Argenport. So with that, we are going to be taking a super lightning fast break, and then
we might not be taking a break at all. Is the word I'm getting. I think we're just going to jump into the next match. It's lined up. Players are ready to go. If you're ready.
Oh.